Spriggan is a legendary creature known from Cornish fairy lore. Spriggans are particular to West Penwith in Cornwall. Spriggans in folklore. Spriggans were depicted as grotesquely ugly, and were said to be found at old ruins and barrows guarding buried treasure and generally acting as fairy bodyguards. They were also said to be busy thieves. Though usually small, they had the ability to swell to enormous size. Certainly the disposition was poor, and they caused mischief to those who offended them. They sent storms to blight crops, and sometimes stole away mortal children, leaving their ugly changelings in the place. In one story, an old woman got the better of a band of Spriggans by turning her clothing inside out to gain the loot. Sculpture. A sculpture of a Spriggan by Marilyn Collins can be seen in Crouch End, London, in some arches lining a section of the Parkland Walk. If walking along the Parkland Walk from Finsbury Park to Highgate Station, the Spriggan is to the right just before the disused railway platforms of the former Crouch End station. To the left, on the south side of the Parkland Walk, is Crouch Hill Park, where Ashmount School has been located since January 2013. The sculpture is sometimes mistaken for the Green Man of Pan. Spriggans in popular culture. Spriggans appear as magical, tree-like creatures in several of the Elder Scrolls role-playing video games by Bethesda Softworks. Spriggans generally appear in wooded areas, guarding hidden glades, cave entrances, or forest ruins. They are hostile towards the player and most other humanoid characters, attacking them on sight. They also possess the ability to command woodland creatures to fight alongside them. In the Blood Moon expansion to Morrowind, Spriggans can regenerate after death twice and only remain dead after being killed 3 times. In Magic: The Gathering, it is a goblin creature type. Cards such as Hungry Spriggan and Tower Above show their ability to swell. In the MMO Glitch, Spriggan is a godlike being who was responsible for the creation of trees. The main character in Sword Art Online light novel, manga, and anime series, Kirito, takes the form of a Spriggan in the Alfheim online game. Spriggans are said to only possess illusionary magic that is not seen as being helpful in battle. However, Kirito utilizes both a transformation illusion and a smokescreen to overcome opponents in battles in which he was greatly outmatched. In the Beyond the Spiderwick trilogy, a creature named Sandspur is later discovered to be Spriggan. A Spriggan by the name of Sprig is a companion to Max Summer and his friends in the Grey Griffin series. In the online game Elsword, there is a boss in a stage called Spriggan that is a rather small miniature knight about half of the character's height, but has an attack which consists of his true form being rather tall, shadow inside the armor to come out and perform stronger attacks, the shadow being 3 to 4 times the character's height. The War Machine tabletop miniatures game has a model in their Cador faction called a Spriggan. In the online video game Wizard 101, a Spriggan is a creature found in the world of Avalon in which you must defeat. Horror writer Stephen King once visited his friend, Peter Straub, whose house is in Crouch End. The legend goes that after asking for a good place to go for a walk, he was directed towards the old railway line, now called the Parkland Walk. While here, he was inspired by the strange, unsettling surroundings and the sculpture of a Spriggan, which was pushing its way out of an old arched wall. King wrote the short story Crouch End, based on his visit, which was later adapted as an episode of Nightmares and Dreamscapes for the stories of Stephen King, which included the Spriggan in the introduction. In the Season 3 episode, Fight Against the Machine of the sci-fi series Lost Girl, the character named Balzac is of Spriggan. In the episode, it is stated that to deal with Spriggan is binding and must be upheld. The Spriggan is a demon of the faery family in the Shin Megami Tensei series. He appears Strange Journey and Soul Hackers. He looks like a giant statue and has a childish personality. In Hiro Mishima's manga Fairy Tail series, antagonist Zaref assumes the name Spriggan in opposition of the titular guild when acting as Emperor of the Alvarez Empire, referring to himself as a grotesque fairy. In the PlayStation video game Wild Arms 2, the elemental bosses of the 4 Raypoint temples are subtitled Spriggan.